Hello and welcome to another episode of the Trash Talk Podcast. I'm your host, JD Smokey Rameriz from the Trash Talkers. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, JJ. It's time for the Boomer weather update again. Is it? You know what? I guess it was more of a silent gen thing to just talk about the weather every single day, but maybe the Boomers have fallen in line with that also. But neither one of us are Boomers. We're still going to talk about the weather. It is absolutely steaming hot, man. We're getting up in the upper 90s and about 80% humidity at the same time. So it feels like you have to cut a hole in the air to walk through it at this point in time. It's just way steamy, man. How's the weather in Germany?
Oh, it's amazing. I think. Yes, I can't talk. I swear. I think the heat wave ended like about a week ago, and ever since then, we've like very stably had like right around like 20 degrees. Sometimes it was actually cold. Like more like 13 degrees. Not like put on all sorts of jackets kind of cold, but just like you probably don't want to go out in a t-shirt kind of cold, you know? And otherwise, again, like I think today was like 20. I think my thermometer said 22 at one point. I think it says 21 right now. So yeah, no, it's just very pleasant. And it's great because then I can just like have my windows open all day and have really fresh air.
Oh man, that would be so nice. I wish we could drop the temperature a little bit here. Actually, last night, as of this recording, it went down a little bit after a pretty good rainstorm. But this morning I walked outside and I was like, oh my God, it's hotter than yesterday already. So yeah, those 80 to 90% humidity days are just unbearable.
Yeah, I don't think it ever, like, unless it's raining, I don't think it ever goes quite that high for us, but yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, I think it was the same for us as it was for you, basically, except that it didn't go back up again. I think it was Thursday was the last day when it was, like Thursday last week was the last day when it was, like, really hot, and then I think it was, like, Thursday evening or Monday, or Friday morning or something. That's how those days go. Where, like, it rained, like, really severely. And I think it was Thursday evening, which also is, like, bad at first, because, like, the humidity spikes up immediately, and then slowly the temperature goes down. But afterwards, like, Friday morning, it just was kind of cold. And it's been slowly getting, I think it's slowly been getting warmer again, but, like, the last couple days were just, like, really pleasant.
I will trade. You can have it, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. And now to our actual topic. Like, I like that we like actually had a very clickable topic and that we talked about the weather for 10 minutes. Probably not actually 10 minutes, but did Epstein kill himself? And is the US government trying to cover it up? Well, I mean, him killing himself would, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't followed this like very, very closely, so I'm depending on you to give me some information so I can make an informed decision on the correct answer of whether he did or not.
I mean, for me, the situation always was like, I mean, I definitely, like, when it was a meme, I also was very much on, like, Epstein killed himself thing. Like, even if I, like, hadn't really looked into it, it's just like, oh yeah, Epstein didn't kill himself, right? Like, that, it's a nice phrase to say, and it kind of, like, the point it gets across, even if it wasn't, like, literally sure it happened, is just, you know, there were a lot of important people on there that, like, in his, like, little black book or whatever it was, and, we should probably know who those people are. And we might not know who some of those people were now that Epstein is dead, so, that's a problem. The more this goes on, the more it looks like there is actually a cover-up, which is weird, because I mean, Trump was very big on the whole, like, oh, let's release the Epstein files, right? Let's release a client list and everything. And they were talking it all up, and then it's actually funny, there was an interview where they were like, oh, so you wanted to declassify the JFK files? He's like, yeah. You wanted to declassify Martin Luther King? Yeah. And Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah. Actually, maybe not that last one. He was like, oh, yeah. There might be fake names on the list, and we don't want to, like, harm reputations of people, and it's like, okay, you seem to know some of the people that are on there, and you don't want to ruin their reputations, by all evidence, including himself. But anyway, so he did still, like, he did say often that he wanted to release the Epstein files. Then they did an event with some right-wing influencers where they were like, oh yeah, you're getting the Epstein files. And they gave them some folders with the Epstein files that were already released. So, it's like, this is not even new information. And then Pam Bondi, the AG, was talking about having the files on her desk. And like she just had looked through them, and then like everything was going to be declassified that they could declassify.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a week later, they release some like heavily redacted documents and video footage from the prison. And that's it. The files are basically redacted beyond being able to get anything useful out of it. They said there was no client list, which apparently might be true, that there's no like one singular list with all his clients, because, I mean, why would he have like just a list of people? But there are things in his files that should identify at least some of the people. But they say like, oh, there are no perpetrators, he did everything by himself. And the video they released is of... Okay, so apparently, and I think that has been said before, only one of the cameras in the prison, on at least on his floor, was actually like recording. The other cameras had live feeds, but because they were using some really old system, apparently the backups were broken or something, and so they only recorded one camera. That camera does not face his cell directly. So, someone could have probably gotten in his jail cell and not been on that particular camera. So, that footage, in and of itself, is basically useless. At least someone tried to avoid that camera. They released that footage. I think it's like hours of footage or something. But, around midnight, there is just a minute missing. And that's weird, isn't it? Now, the official explanation is that apparently there's something about like the recording system resetting, and like every night there's apparently a minute missing, allegedly. That is sort of the official statement from the AG's office or the DOJ or whoever was exactly responsible for that. And that is odd. And I mean, okay, so do you know what a philosophical razor is?
A philosophical razor?
Yes.
No, not right off.
Most famously, Occam's razor, right? The most likely answer is probably correct. There's another one.
Yeah.
Hanlon's razor. Do not assume... What was it? Do not assume malice for that which can be adequately explained by incompetence, right? And now, for me, those two are in tension, right? Because the more fishy the evidence looks, the more likely it looks like there is a cover-up, right? At the same time, basically the official explanation is just incompetence, right? Like, why is there no footage? Because we had an old system and it didn't work right. Why were the guards not there? Because they were sleeping and they falsified their logs saying that they actually did the rounds. And all of the explanations that they give could technically be true. But that's a lot of bad systems and a lot of people not doing their jobs right. Which is possible. But either that prison, and probably by extension a lot of federal prisons and a lot of federal government, is very incompetent, or there is something fishy going on there. The simpler explanation, again, Occam's razor, right? The simplest explanation is that someone killed Epstein, and then they tried to cover it up. Because that's actually fairly simple. Like, yes, the amount of people that would have to, like, shut up are, like, not zero, but it's, like, what, like, a couple of guards and the killer, right? And, like, maybe, like, someone who saw the footage. Like, that's a fairly small number of people. I think that's a plausible conspiracy. But Hanlon's razor will tell you that, I mean, they were just bad at their jobs, right? Like, the government didn't want to pay for better video recording technology. They were still using stuff from the 80s, I think. Might have been the 90s. The point is it's old. And it didn't work right, and so they didn't have a lot of recordings. And the guards were asleep on the job, which, I mean, it's a night shift. It's not really that much of a surprise. Like, that happens places. It's just the confluence of all of those things does look a bit suspicious. But, like, all of those things individually are plausible. And so that is a bit weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, Man, it does look like it. It really does look like it. It's just so weird that that would be something you run on for your campaign that we're going to expose off, knowing at some point you're really not going to expose all this stuff. Well, wouldn't it have been best to just say, yeah, I mean, after you run on it, so say you think that's going to help you get elected, so you run your campaign on it, and then after that, say, okay, yeah, we actually do not have access to it, so we can't release that stuff. Rather than Pam Bondi saying, "Yes, I have it. It's on my desk, and we're going to show everyone," and then release a heavily redacted version of it, which is just going to raise suspicion anyway. I mean, I guess if you're not worried about re-election in the future, then there's that. You could say that, but it seems really weird that you would still go ahead and release a version of it, and then the version shows absolutely nothing. I mean, the JFK thing also is we finally get this information like, oh, here comes the climax of the whole situation. We're going to find out, and then you find out absolutely nothing. Why wouldn't you just, in the first place, say, no, we don't have access to it? Why still release a version, which makes it look even more suspicious when you just give out a version that has so much stuff erased?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, right, you said election promises make sense, right? Like, politicians do often, like, promise things and then don't deliver on them. That's not unusual. So, and it was, like, it's an obvious thing. Like, there were people that cared about this, especially in Trump's space, and so it makes sense to be like, hey, we're going to release this. That, I think, makes a lot of sense. I mean, playing to the base doesn't actually make that much electoral sense, but there are people that are going to be interested in this, right? And is it going to win many votes? I don't know, but it's a sensible thing to say on the campaign trail. Why do they keep saying it? I guess to remain consistent. I mean, Trump kept saying it, and so it makes sense that his people will play along, right? Because we know that, like, the MAGA politicians, which is basically all Republicans at this point, or most at the very least, tend to just parrot whatever Trump says, right? They tend to go along with whatever he says. So if he says we're going to release this, then Pam Bondi says, oh yeah, I have the files, we're going to release them soon. And then when they realized that they couldn't release them, they, I guess, then tried to, like, technically do what they promised they would do, but just, like, do it in the most minimal way possible. I mean, they were also doing it right at the time when the Texas flood happened, and I think there was some other, like, big news story. I think they tried to bury it a bit as well when they released it. I think they released it on, like, a Friday, which, if you release something on a Friday, you definitely want it to be a big news story. And so it does seem like they were just trying to... If someone asks, why did you release the Epstein files? They'd be like, oh, we did, though. Right? So, like, they have a good answer for that. It's not them changing their position. They're just like, oh, it turns out there's not a lot to see here. Sort of their explanation. The problem is, again, it looks very suspicious. Which doesn't help your point. I mean, if they hadn't released it, it probably would have looked less suspicious. Which is weird, because not releasing it already looks suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they did it, but I again, I can somewhat rationalize it, but I can't give you a full explanation for that.
Yeah, and the thing about Pam Bondi, saying that we haven't, did she see the redacted version, or did she? I mean, if she knew her name was going to be on that list, like she's read through the list, right? She wouldn't go on live TV and say, oh, yeah, got them on my desk. We're going to show everyone, right?
It's very possible that by the time, like she said she had it on her desk, she actually didn't, and she hadn't read it. Now, she's the AG, so she's the top prosecutor of the country. I don't think she would, like, anyone working as a federal prosecutor, she probably has access to the full files. I'm pretty sure the version that she would have been able to read would have been unredacted. Now, I think officially, they say the only things that are redacted are, like, to protect the victims, like, identities. Which is something that you would actually do, right? Like, redacting those kinds of files to protect the victims is a perfectly legitimate thing that any government would do. However, because of how heavily redacted they are, you can't really know what is missing there. Because it's not just like, there's like a name redacted here and there. It's also actually like a normal thing to redact the names of unindicted co-conspirators. That's also a very normal thing to do, because they don't want to allege that someone did a crime and then not charge them. Both because it would probably look bad to not charge them, and because you're hurting someone's reputation who, like, as far as the legal system is concerned, did not commit a crime, right? Because you only committed a crime once you are convicted, essentially, legally speaking. And so it makes sense that they would redact it. But they're saying they didn't redact anyone's names in there from the perpetrator side of things, because they're saying there just are no other perpetrators. Which, like, oh yeah, right? Like, he built his wealth on, like, sex trafficking to himself? Like, what are you saying?
Yeah, exactly. There had to be clientele.
So it doesn't make sense that it would have happened by himself, right? Like, we don't know where his money comes from. There's not really any official paperwork that would, like, confirm why he had a lot of money. It doesn't make sense that he would have had a lot of money. Unless he made money some illegal way, and given that he's, like, accused of sex trafficking by a bunch of people, it would stand to reason that that's how he made his money. Also, by the way, on a somewhat unrelated note, he was on suicide watch, and you know why? Because he allegedly tried to hang himself before. He had ligature marks on his neck, and they were like, oh, we gotta put him under suicide watch. He told his lawyer that his cellmate tried to kill him. Tried to strangle him. And that's why he had those marks.
Yeah.
Which seems like a weird thing to say to your lawyer after you try to kill yourself. Now, granted, if you try to kill yourself, a lot of people might not be proud of that, right? So it wouldn't be entirely unreasonable for him to lie about that, but it does seem like oddly specific to allege that someone tried to kill you and then shortly thereafter end up dead. It's a bit weird how that happened. And again, I'm not even saying like I'm 100% convinced he didn't kill himself, because it's entirely possible. It just, the more stuff gets released, the more suspicious it looks. And at some point you gotta ask yourself, if it walks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, right? Is it maybe a duck? And
yeah,
I don't normally lean towards conspiratorial thinking. I try to go where the evidence points me. I generally tend to oftentimes accept the commonly understood order of events, because that is usually, there's a reason for that, right? Like, we use the best evidence and then build a picture. I am somewhat mistrustful of the governments, especially the US government, but because we know they cover things up as well. But I also tend to oftentimes think that, like, when there's an official report, chances are oftentimes there is truth in there, right? And so this one is so suspicious that I'm like, this is weird. And again, I'm not going to commit to saying that he definitely didn't kill himself, because you can't know that for sure. But it sure looks worse by the day, basically. I mean, not literally by the day, but like every time they release something new, it just makes him look worse. And that is weird. And we know that Trump and Epstein were friends, right? That's well documented. So and I think that we're actually, like, I think one of the women who, well, girls at the time when it happened, that accused Epstein, I think also explicitly accused Trump. So it does seem very likely that Trump was an Epstein client. All available evidence points towards that. And so the motive for not releasing the files under the Trump administration is obvious, right? So it would make sense why they would cover it up. The question then is, previous administrations, Biden, I guess, in particular, what about the Biden admin? Why didn't they release anything? I don't think it's DOJ policy to just release things willy-nilly, right? They didn't have an active case against some of the conspirators. It might have been building cases. It kind of makes sense why they wouldn't. And then the other thing is, it's also, like, been heavily suspected that Bill Clinton was on the list, which might have also given some people pause, right? And so it's really hard to, like, get, like, all of that stuff released when there's probably interest on both sides to not release it. And because everything is, like, somewhat politicized in the US, and there are only two parties, and both parties presumably had previous presidents that were on that list. There's no one who, or, well, I don't know. But it almost seems like there's no one that has both the power and the interest to release it, right? Because you gotta have access to the files and want to release them. And it seems that most people that have access to files have reasons to not release them. Now, there are obviously people lower down in the AG's office that might have access to some of those files that don't personally have a reason not to share them, but obviously they would lose their jobs if it came out that they leaked those files. And so, it's one of those things where that is a good reason not to do it, like, individually. Because, obviously you don't want to lose your job, and so, again, it's just in no one's interest to release those, essentially. Except for, like, the broader public at large, but the public doesn't actually have the power. It's kind of weird how that works. Because most of the time, you would assume that the public interest and whatever prosecutors are doing is, like, broadly aligned. But as soon as people on the government side are implicated, that changes.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, with like, some of the legal things that Trump did, it makes some degree of sense that those were, even if it took way too long, were eventually prosecuted because the Democrats still had it in their best interest to prosecute him. But people on both sides are implicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who's going to push for it? Now, the other question is, did Elon have the power to see those files?
That is an interesting question. So, he had access to a lot of government computers, a lot of government servers as well. And so, I don't know if he was in the DOJ. I don't think it was ever one of those things that was, like, publicly talked about, so it is possible he did not. It is also possible he did. I just don't know. I mean, to be fair, they also put Starlink on the White House, and so it is possible that he just has access to basically all government records that are being transmitted. Not in, like, an official capacity, but just, because he controls the system that they use to send it. Now, that might be encrypted before it gets sent through Starlink. I don't know. But it was not implemented with, like, the normal security procedures. Trump just kind of put it up. He wasn't personally, Trump didn't put up a satellite dish. Of course not. But you know what I mean. He had it put up.
Yeah.
The moment I said it, I was picturing, like, Trump on the roof of the White House, just, like, personally, like screwing, like, tightening the bolts on the dish. I was like, that doesn't track.
That would be a comedy of errors in itself. But if he did, like, I mean, he's making the bold statements, of course, that he knows that Trump is on that list. Like, he knows it somehow. So if he saw classified material that he did not have the classification to see, is that not implicating himself and he could be punished for that?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, right, we all assume that Trump was on the list, right? Like, it was generally known that that Trump and Epstein were heavily associated. So, he could have just guessed, essentially, right? And just been like, yeah, I mean, of course he's on there, right? And that's an impactful thing to say. It could be that he's on the list. Thing is, obviously, if he, like, grabbed it through Starlink somehow, then obviously that would be a terrible thing to share, right? Like, that would not be good for him to share that. But, I mean, if, as part of, like, the Doge thing, he went through the DOJ and got some files, that would be a trickier situation, because while I don't know if he would have had legally access to it, but, like, Trump essentially gave him access to it, right? So that would also, like, implicate Trump and his people. So that might just not be something that would want to go after, even if there was something, like, not quite right happening there.
Wow, that is a tangled web. Dude, this situation right here is, like, the biggest mess that I've ever seen in a political arena in my life. Something that devious and that diabolical and involving the most powerful people on earth, and the breakups and the pointing fingers at each other. I mean, pointing fingers has always happened in politics anyway, but these are like punishable by life in prison accusations that
Yeah,
you really don't see that in even in the political arena, right?
yeah. I mean, I feel
That
like
is.
the trick if you want to go away with crimes is just to have leverage over some really powerful people, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you see that again and again. I mean, not maybe on that scale, but I mean, you saw a very similar thing with Diddy, right? Now, granted,
Mm-hmm.
he has not been found guilty of most of the like bigger accusations. Whether that was because those things didn't happen or the government simply couldn't build a compelling case, we
Yeah.
don't know. Do I think he did it? Would it be slander to say yes? But there were also a lot of people that were on those tapes, right? Like he had, I mean, I don't think necessarily politicians, but like a lot of other celebrities, and so there's a lot of influence, just like interested in not letting that get out, right? The Epstein thing, there's politicians, there's business leaders, right? There's a lot of very powerful people that have a vested interest in those things not coming out. I mean, everything that Scientology does, right? There's a lot of celebrities involved that don't want that to come out. And there's a lot of power, there's a lot of money behind preventing these things from coming out. And you can get away with a lot if you just get the right people involved.
Mm-hmm. Oh, as far as the Diddy thing, I personally think they probably chased the wrong charges, to tell you the truth, because I didn't see any conspiracy and racketeering a proof, or was there anybody even saying this outside of the charges itself?
I mean, Rico was essentially saying he's the leader of a criminal organization. Essentially, what the idea was, right? And so
yeah, but there has to be money laundering and things like that involved, also.
I don't think specifically. I think sex trafficking would have worked as a reason. What did Rico charges? There were definitely sex trafficking charges, and the jury was like, "No, this isn't sex trafficking. What he did." And
yeah, I mean, they basically said it wasn't sex trafficking; it's just prostitution.
Yeah, I think it basically is what that came down to. Although I'm not sure if they ever charged him with prostitution. He was he.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was, okay. He was found guilty of something, but I honestly didn't like super track that case. I saw the verdict and I was like, not guilty on most of the very serious charges, but found guilty on some of the lesser ones, and even those like do carry jail time probably. But yeah, no.
Yeah,
I do think that they probably didn't go after the case, right? As you said, right? The charges they chose were probably not optimal. Maybe they could have tried to find more evidence before they charge it. I think it's also one of those where they didn't want to do the thing where it takes like 5 years from like when they first like arrest him to when the trial is done, because it's a high profile case and there's a lot of attention on it, and they might have rushed some of those things as well. It's hard to say. I mean, again, maybe he doesn't meet the legal threshold for some of the things they charge him with, but he clearly did things that were illegal. I can say that with confidence because he was found guilty of crimes. And with the whole videotapes of people, like, there might probably be like a blackmailing charge or something in there that you could also go after, right? There might be some sexual assault charges somewhere in there, at least in the things that some people have alleged about him. And
yeah,
they tried to go after like the bigger picture thing, which makes sense, but probably also was like harder to substantiate. Also, sex trafficking is like one of those things that just like is not defined very well for the case that they were trying to make. Like, there are no rulings that I think said that things similar to what he did were sex trafficking, but also like the traditional understanding of the term, it isn't. So it's very wishy-washy.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think if they really wanted to stick the charges, they could have went after domestic abuse, and
I don't know if they could have.
guess, but you don't think, because there's a video of him beating up Cassie
No. He's a
in
domestic
the
abuser.
hotel.
I'm just not sure if the federal government has a statute under which they can specifically charge domestic abuse. I mean, they might be able to just charge like assault or battery or something, but again, I don't know. But this is usually something you hear about state charges, and for all we know, he's gonna face state charges. But
maybe that's not federal.
What we're talking about was a federal prosecution. They don't normally go after these things. I don't know if that's because they literally can't, or if it is just because they think it's better left to the states. I don't know, but
I do think it was coming, because he had a settlement with Cassie for like $30 million. So I think that charge was coming if he did not settle up with her. So it may have been at the state level. It may not have been federal, but
there's also
sexual coercion
right?
and
it's this whole jurisdictional matter where it's like, oh yeah, like these are state crimes, those are federal crimes. I mean, that was a big problem with Trump, right? Where, I mean, not that it was like the defining problem, but there's like so many charges against him in so many different jurisdictions that it was like pretty hard to keep track of.
Yeah. It's great. Another big one that's coming up probably soon. I don't know, but the Vince McMahon thing, like for some reason, that almost like just disappeared out of the court of public opinion for some reason. But I would assume there has to be.
Because he did, right? Like, he disappeared from the public view.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. But I assume there has to be some court proceedings coming up for him very soon.
Yeah,
right?
I think if he's not in the public very much, and the case itself is not really moving forward in any like meaningful way, and even if they had like jury selection or something, like unless it's like a super high profile case, no one's going to report about that because that's not very interesting to most people. And so it's just going to be like until something significant happens, or until he tries to decide to go into public view again, no one's probably going to talk about it. And even then, Vince McMahon is not that high profile of a public figure. Because if you don't care about wrestling, you probably don't have much of a connection to Vince McMahon.
Doesn't his wife still work for Trump? She's on the
Secretary of Education, yes.
That's pretty high profile. He's a public figure and a billionaire, and has been in the news many, many times over the course of his career. But yeah, I get it. But
no, I'm just saying, like, some people that are like very famous in like one domain are actually like not as broadly known as you might think.
So you think more people know Diddy than know Van?
Of course.
You think?
Yeah.
I would think it's about even. I mean, I'm sure a lot more people know of Diddy now that charges have happened.
I was going to say, it's impossible to pull that now because obviously you would want to before the case, but I think so, right? I mean, musicians are oftentimes very broadly well known, even if he maybe wasn't like the most mainstream in terms of his like music, but even then it was very popular. Whereas wrestling is more of a niche thing. I mean, yes, Vince is a public figure. He did the XFL as well, the original one. Like, he tried to be like very out there in certain ways. So he probably is. He's probably more well known than anyone else in wrestling besides the people that became actors. But
The Rock and John Cena. Yeah,
basically those two. Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe like some of the very old wrestlers like Hulk Hogan, or even like a little bit newer, like maybe Austin. I actually don't know.
I think it's up there.
But the general public knows Steve Austin.
Yeah, I think
Hogan,
so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior, probably, maybe, I don't know. Andre the Giant was
Andre the Giant. Yeah. But yeah, either way, but I think that was basic. But then again, now that you're pointing out that it's federal, that the charges against Diddy, like maybe that's all they could have went for. So they got to stick what they could, and they didn't really have a case for the other stuff. But I think after he gets sentenced with this, I think he's out of trouble. He does his time, whatever they give him. They may give him up to 2 years or something like that, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
After that,
like, he gets 2 years, and then
back
he gets
to his normal life.
go on probation after 1 or something. Yeah, that's how that always goes, right?
Yeah. I think that's all that's going to happen there. But
There's
I guess
also maybe the possibility that they sometimes do, especially with celebrities, where they just give them house arrest instead of prison.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It makes sense in some cases, I think. I mean, it's really a treat for the inmate at that point because, they don't have to stay in there with legitimate killers that could actually take them out just out of jealousy at any moment. But that's just it. Like, if your crime is not punishable by death in the first place, do you want to stick someone that famous amongst these actual killers who could take them out at the end just because of who they are?
There's also like differences in like the kinds of prisons, right? Like you don't have to put them like in like a high security prison, but I do on some level get why house arrest sometimes applied, but it does seem very like unfair how it is like the people that get house arrest are generally those that have a lot of money or are very famous. That's just like I haven't really heard that much about. I mean, I'm sure it happens, but it does feel like it's disproportionately happens for those individuals. It's also like how if you're driving under the influence and you kill someone, if you're a celebrity, you go to rehab. You get like mandatory rehab for a couple months, and that's it. If you're like a regular person, you go to jail for years.
Yeah. That reminds me of the Tammy Sitch situation. You weren't even born probably when she was popular in WWF, but yeah, she ended up having several DUIs and then eventually ended up taking someone's life in a drunk driving accident back in 2019, 18, whenever it was. I think she got arrested during the pandemic because she was wearing a face mask when it happened. So, she ended up facing many years, like 20 years or something.
And
so
I don't know if that's
she
right
definitely
either.
wasn't a big enough celebrity to get out of it.
Like,
what's that?
I'm not sure if that's right either. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I don't know what the correct answer, like morally right. Like, I don't know what the correct answer here is, right? Like, you killed someone, right? There should be consequences for that. But at the same time, you didn't intend to kill someone, and addiction is a medical issue that needs to be rectified. So it's hard to say. I mean, I guess even if you're drunk, you should probably know better than to drive, right? Like, you could make an argument there. Like, I genuinely don't know if, like, how we should punish people for drunk driving and then killing someone. 20 years seems like a lot. But again, just like a couple months of rehab seems like very little. And there's got to be somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah, you would think, but I don't know, like, it depends on how many times they've had to correct their behavior. Like, if you're on your 7th DUI or something like that, when this happens,
that is definitely.
You already know, like, you've been punished. You went through the probation, you went through the fines, you went through the rehabilitation classes, whatever was court ordered, but yet you didn't correct that behavior, and now someone is dead. Like, if it's the first time, like, I understand a little more leniency. The family of the person who was killed is not going to see it that way. Obviously, they're pushing for, the death sentence every single time because they're distraught.
I don't really get that. I mean, like, I understand that obviously you don't want to lose someone you love, but I never understand why it's so often that the families of victims are like, oh yeah, we want the death sentence. It's like, I don't get that instinct. I mean, I've never had a family member that was killed by someone else. I don't know how you feel in that situation. But, like, obviously you don't want the people to go free. That I understand. But it feels interesting how they're instantly like, oh, kill them. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Why do you want them to be killed, right? Like, that seems very extreme as a reaction.
Yeah. Eye for an eye, yeah. It really is. Because forgiveness is divine. But most people in the modern world don't have that in them. Forgiveness is tough, Yeah,
I mean, again, I don't think you have to forgive them. I don't think you have to want them to go free, right? Like, I don't think there's, like, but again, like, immediately to, like, put them to death is like, that's a lot, right? Like, that's like, I mean, I even get
over an accident.
if you especially over an accident, but like even some sort of intentional killings. I mean, it depends a little bit on how that happened, but like it was like, oh, like a convenience store robbery gone wrong or something like that. It's like if someone like assassinated someone close to you, like they or like like they intentionally tried to murder that person in particular, like I can more so see it, but like any of those like incidental killings, it's like I don't know, like it seems bad. I mean, I also don't believe in the death penalty in general, which is probably gonna affect my perspective, but I just don't get like how people immediately out for blood. That never.
Oh yeah,
right.
I know a story of someone who lost a family member because a truck driver fell asleep while doing his job, obviously. Fell asleep and ended up hitting a car and taking the life of someone. And the family pushed for the maximum, obviously. And it's kind of a cognitive dissonance because I really like this family, but then they tell me the story, and seeing the other side of it, and driving a truck for much of my life, it feels really harsh because that guy, I don't know how many years he spent in prison, but it was quite some time. And they sued, the company, they sued him and won tons of money over it. I understand that somebody lost their life, but how much can we punish someone over a legitimate accident, over a mistake?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't intentional.
And like, you could make the argument that you should know that if you like drive too long, you could fall asleep. But at the same time, I don't think he had much of a choice in it, right? Like truck drivers generally like don't get to choose for how long they have to drive, right? Like, if you take too many breaks, your employer is gonna get angry with you.
You'll lose your job.
The entire system is like not exactly set up for that, and so that's where I think I really get suing the company, right? Like I think that is something I could totally understand, right? Because at the end of the day, as far as I see it, it's the company's fault.
Yes.
And so I totally see suing the company. Like, like going after the guy. I mean, again, I'm not saying he should walk free because he still did something reckless that led to someone dying. But I think that the fault, as far as I see it, is primarily with the company, and that is who I would want to go after. Obviously, you can't charge a company with murder. Actually, maybe you can, but you definitely can't put a company in prison. And so, like, having, like, a civil, like, wrongful death suit against a company, perfectly sensible.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think when people are blinded by their loss, it's almost like a greed, in a way. They go overboard sometimes.
Yeah, I can even, like, see, like, why you might, like, emotionally think you want... I mean, I guess maybe, again, that's informed by my view of death penalty, but, like, I can even see how you would want someone who killed someone close to you to be dead, right? Like, I can kind of see how you would wish death upon them, but to then ask the actual government, whether it is of the state or of the country or whatever, to, like, kill someone, to me, that just is such a wrong thing to ask for, like, that I, categorically, right? Where I'm like, that, like, I could never see myself doing that. But again, I think that is at least in part informed by my, like, very well developed opinion on the death penalty over time, right? Like, that's an issue that I have thought about quite a bit, and I actually used to be pro death penalty, but the more you look into it, like, it's just unjustifiable. I mean, there's the obvious arguments, right? Like the fact that they sometimes kill innocent people because the system just isn't perfect. But there's also just like, do you think the government should have the power to kill some people? Right? Like, I'm not going to say the government should never have the power to kill someone because obviously you have like wars, and even if you have like a hostage situation or something, I can see that because that's like you're saving someone else. But just like killing someone, they're not a danger to society if they're in prison. I mean, there might be a danger to the other prisoners, which is a whole other issue that we don't consider that as a sufficient thing, but like solitary confinement exists, although that is basically torture. But there are ways to mitigate those risks, and they are not going to be out there in society just like murdering people, right? They are going to be in prison. They're not really much of a danger, and so just killing them just doesn't seem justifiable as like a power the government should have. And then there's also like a lot of the practical questions, right? Like it turns out that the death penalty is actually more expensive than a prison sentence, like for life, because of like all. I mean, there's some of that's also just because of death row just like being more expensive to run than the regular prison for some reason because of how they treat the prisoners. But there's also like actual costs for the execution. There's more appeals essentially. I mean, not literally appeals, but there's more court proceedings involved in those death penalties, which also means one of the top arguments for the death penalty, which is to give the families closure, doesn't actually work because of all of the post-conviction appeals that wouldn't have happened but for the death penalty. There's actually less closure than with a life sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of indecisive on it either because I really don't know. I couldn't make that decision myself. That's why I made sure to get out of jury duty the one I got called in for it, because I'm like, I'm not qualified to make that decision, and I don't want that karmic debt on me, whether you believe in karma or not. I don't want to take that chance, and I don't want that debt on me that I made a decision on someone's life, and even if it's just life in prison, I don't want to be a part of that. Like, because all in all, the fact is, I don't care how much of a story you hear, you don't know unless you were there to see it. So I don't want that judgment placed upon me, or the ability to make a judgment placed upon me. So it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah,
I mean, I can see both sides, but I can't make that decision.
Interesting enough, that is kind of why I'm mixed in the concept of juries, but that's a whole other kind of worms.
Yeah.
Is that a topic for the future? Like, do we want to talk about like the legal system and juries and that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Definitely write that down.
That's what I'm just doing. By the way, are we still even talking about our topic, or?
No, I think we've left Epstein in the past at this point.
Yeah, I mean, how about your fact of the week?
Yeah, let me pull it up here. All right, this is pretty interesting. Did you know that Egypt is not the world's leader in pyramids? As a matter of fact, Sudan has more pyramids than any other country in the world, including Egypt. While the pyramids of Egypt are more famous, Sudan boasts a collection between 220 and 255 pyramids. Makes you wonder why they can't just count and get the actual number, but primarily located in the region of Nubia. Pretty cool. I mean, most people would assume Egypt had more pyramids than any other place on Earth. I think
it's just because there's like a couple of really big pyramids there. I think is why I'm assuming the ones in Sudan are smaller. I don't know that, but also, by the way,
I would assume.
Okay, not my fact of the week, and I would have to double check if it's true, but do you know which country has the biggest pyramid in the world?
Oh, it's not Egypt, I guess. Mexico?
If I'm not mistaken, it's the US.
Oh, really? A modern one, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's a Bass Pro Shop one.
Las Vegas?
Biggest pyramid.
I know there's a huge one in Las Vegas.
World. Let's see what comes up. List of tallest pyramids. Okay, this puts the Great Pyramid of Giza on there. Does it specifically both ancient and modern? Huh. What modern pyramidal buildings? Memphis Pyramid. Wait. So the Memphis Pyramid is 321 feet. The Great Pyramid of Giza is 455. So I was just misinformed.
Okay.
So I was just wrong there. But it is still one of the biggest pyramids in the world. It still would be in the top 10. Things like, what is it? The 6th tallest pyramid in the world then? In Memphis.
So in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes.
Not in Memphis, Egypt.
Is there another Memphis?
There's a Memphis, right?
I don't know.
I believe so.
I don't know. Named after Memphis, Egypt. Yeah, no, that is true.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought so. But that's pretty funny, though, that they would also have pyramids. I mean,
Might
maybe
not be a
that's the
coincidence.
tie-in.
They might have been like, hey, we're named after
Yeah.
an Egyptian city. Maybe we should have a pyramid.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's a big pyramid with a Bass Pro Shop logo on it, and I think there might actually be a store for them in there as well. So, but I guess not tall. I thought it was for some reason. There's also a big pyramid in Astana, which is weird, but okay. And Long Beach, okay.
The one in Las Vegas does not make...
Yes, the biggest modern pyramid apparently is in Paradise.
Paradise?
Paradise, Nevada, yeah.
Oh.
So, okay, when people say Las Vegas, 99% of the time, they actually mean Paradise, because, like, actually the Vegas Strip is in an unincorporated territory known as Paradise, Nevada, because they don't have to pay, like, municipal taxes and stuff like that, so they intentionally didn't incorporate it, because of that. So, yeah, it's actually Paradise, Nevada.
Yeah.
It's technically Vegas. Like, it's technically Paradise, but it's actually Vegas, practically speaking.
I didn't even notice that. I was out there in 2010, but I did notice there is a difference between the old strip and the new strip. Like, a big difference in the buildings also. I mean, obviously, it's the old strip's going to be a little less modern than the new strip, but the old strip was kind of, I was like running down, and you would see more older people on the old strip, maybe, reminiscing or whatever, but the new strip was where it was at. That's where all the modern stuff was, and that was probably in Paradise, like you're talking about.
So yes, the Luxor Pyramid in Paradise, Nevada is actually the third biggest pyramid in the world. So yeah, no, I was wrong about that one. Which is why we always fact check our facts of the week. Except that wasn't my fact of the week, because my fact of the week is about something completely different. My fact of the week is about Matt Groening. I'm just gonna assume that's how he pronounces his last name. Groening. Matt Groening.
Is it Groening? I always heard Groening, or maybe out of my head.
It says Groening in the IPA, but
you may be right.
No. So, you know who he is, right?
Yeah, creators of The Simpsons.
Now, I think I just want to read you this paragraph and see if you notice something. Matthew Abram Groening was born on February 15th, 1954 in Portland, Oregon. The middle of 5 children, older sisters Patty and brother Mark were born in 1943 and 1950, okay, we didn't that much detail, and younger sisters Lisa and Maggie in 1956 and 1958 respectively. His Norwegian-American mother, Margaret Ruth, was once a teacher, and his German-Canadian father, Homer Philip Groening, was a filmmaker, advertiser, and writer and cartoonist.
So that's where he got the character names from.
Yep. His sisters, Lisa and Maggie, and his parents, Marge and Homer.
Wow.
So apparently Homer Groening was named after Homer, the ancient Greek writer. So the fact that people are like, whenever you say Homer, I'm thinking of Homer Simpson, not the Greek Homer, actually indirectly named after the Greek Homer.
The Odyssey.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, there is also a Springfield, Oregon, right? I believe so. I always assumed it was for Springfield, Illinois.
There's so many Springfields. It's like unreasonable how many Springfields there are in the US. Springfield.
Maybe half the state.
I think it's the biggest one. United States. Arkansas, California, Colorado, Florida. Another one in Florida. Georgia, Idaho, Illinois. 2 in Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas. Another former one in Texas, Vermont, Virginia, disambiguation. Okay, there's multiple in Virginia. There's multiple in Wisconsin. Oh, there's also multiple in New Jersey. Sorry, I didn't see that. And yeah.
So there's like 58 Springfields in America.
I believe Springfield, Massachusetts
Some of those have to
is
be
the biggest.
unincorporated. Yeah. Yeah, I would
Springfield,
assume
Massachusetts is
because
also
the capital
first
of
Springfield
Illinois.
settled in the United States.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I assumed Illinois because that's the capital of Illinois, but yeah. So Oregon definitely has a Springfield, so maybe that's where that was the namesake there.
There's also apparently one on the U.S. Virgin Islands, and of course, there are also ones in other countries. There are what is that? 7 in Australia, 2 in New South Wales, 1 in Queensland, 1 in South Australia, 1 in Tasmania, and 2 in Victoria. There is 1 in Belize. There are a couple in Canada, 2 in Manitoba, 2 in New Brunswick. That's weird how they're listed. 1 in Newfoundland and Labrador, 1 in Nova Scotia, 1 in Ontario, 1 in Prince Edward Island, and 1 in Saskatchewan. I guess it's on Prince Edward Island? Huh. Is it in or on? Because it is a province. There are 2 in Ireland, 1 in County Offaly, and 1 in County Westmeath? I have no idea. That's probably wrong. I can barely do it, like, English county names. And the Irish ones, but it should be Irish.
Yeah.
There's 1 in New Zealand, and there is 1 in South Africa. At least those are all of the ones that have...
Great.
Oh, Wikipedia articles, right, I forgot the UK ones. There are 4 in Greater London. 1 in Birmingham, 1 in Essex, 1 in Milton Keynes, 1 in Sandwell, 1 in Sutton Farm, an area in Sutton... Oh, it's an area, so it's not a city. A place in Wigan, okay, and 1 in Wolverhampton. There's 1 in Northern Ireland, in County Fermanagh. Oh, fucking hell. There are 3 in Scotland. 1 in Dumfries and Gallow, 1 in Fife, and 1 in Highland. Okay, and there's 1, of course, in Wales, because why would there be? And I'm not even going to try with that one, because I'm pretty sure that's Welsh.
So I had to look this up because since you named all of those, I thought maybe Springfield is the most common town, city, whatever name
Is it
world,
Newtown,
but
the most
apparently
common
no. And I would not have expected this, but apparently it is San Jose.
one?
1,700 places in countless countries named San Jose.
Right. Now that you say that, I would have maybe thought like Santa Maria or something like that. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wild.
Oh wait, is it Joseph? Is it like the biblical Joseph? One of the biblical Josephs.
Saint, maybe. Would Saint Joseph? Maybe that's what Jose is for. I never thought about that.
Spanish for Saint Joseph.
Okay, yeah. Once
So
thought
Saint
about that.
Joseph is not the Joseph I was thinking of, though, is it? Is it?
Oh, it's not.
Is it
Mary and
Jesus'
Joseph.
dad?
Was he?
Oh no, it
technically
is.
a
It
saint?
is. The pictures just threw me off. Yes. So it is Spanish for Saint Joseph.
Gotcha.
Apparently, the 2 most notable ones were California and Costa Rica, but yeah, the list is very long. It's mostly Spanish-speaking places. I guess it's only Spanish-speaking places if we consider the U.S. as a Spanish-speaking place, because it basically is. I don't know. Actually, Belize also has one, and that's an English-speaking place. But yeah, no. I mean, yeah, Santa Maria is also like very common. You get a lot of those, like all of those saint ones are very common. I didn't even think about that. I think I knew that. Like I knew that like some of those were pretty common. I think there's 1 or 2 others that are also like very common, as like for the saints, especially in Spanish-speaking places again, because I think those are Catholic a lot as well. Because obviously the saints are only associated with Catholicism.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
It's like every town is named after a saint in Mexico. Well, I guess
and
not
in
all.
California, right? Like
Yeah.
San
Texas
Francisco,
and New Mexico.
Santa Ana,
Yeah.
Santa Clara.
San Antonio. Yeah. That's crazy.
If it starts with San or Santa or Saint or something that's named after Saint, you know.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of places in France. I think they're like Saint something.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, Saints make sense. I would have also accepted Rome as an answer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have one not far from here.
Yeah, super common. And yeah, again, I think Newtown is also like a fairly common one actually. You get those ones, Newtown, Newport, which is just very creative.
I actually went to Newton High School, which is a form of Newtown.
And that's named after Isaac Newton.
Yeah, you think? I always assumed it was just the shortened form of Newtown, but maybe they named it after Isaac Newton.
Maybe Isaac Newton's named after a place that was a contraction of Newtown. I have no idea. We're getting way too rabbit holey for the fact that this isn't even supposed to be a topic. It's just supposed to be the facts of the week. Speaking of topics, we're going to do Hurdle Decades for the halftime show as per usual, which I definitely didn't just have to pull up because I forgot to pull it up ahead of time. And we are, of course, doing the actual decades, starting with the 50s, because doing number ones is probably too easy for you.
Oh, that's Hank Williams, right?
You're not telling me you actually got it from that.
I'm walking the floor over you. Is it?
What?
It's Hank Williams, even if that title's not right.
The problem is there's too many Hank Williams songs on here.
Yeah. Play a little more, maybe.
Colleaga, Cold Cold Heart, Moanin' the Blues, Hey Good Lookin', You're Cheatin' Hard, Why Don't You Love Me, Mind Your Own Business, Long Gone Lonesome Blues, Jambalaya, and Setting the Woods on Fire, and probably more. So I would...
It could be
really
You're Cheating Hard, also.
No, like...
It's one of the really...
Wait, so is
really
the thing you told me,
songs.
the Walking something or other, that was actually the title, or was it just a lyric?
Oh, that's the hook. I'm not sure if it's the title of the song.
Because for Walking Nothing...
And now I'm walking to the floor over... Okay, maybe that's not the song then.
Okay, so pick one, right? Like, if we know it's Hank Williams, we might as well.
I'll go with Cheating Heart.
You're Cheating Hard. Submit. No.
No, okay. Oh, dude, that's Hank Williams. I'm pretty sure of that. Unless there's someone else that had an extremely similar style.
You said that
it's
already?
not Collage.
Pick song. I don't think it's Jambalaya.
No, it's not Jambalaya.
That is one that I actually know, not from him, but...
From CCR.
Yeah, of course.
Try Cold Cold Heart. Maybe that's it.
Cold Heart. Submit. No, it's not.
Dang it. Dang it.
I guess let's
I want to hear the first words.
Hank Williams in again for good measure. I don't know why I'm still typing. Yes. We still have a bunch of options. And again, there's probably more. It's just cut off because it can only display a certain amount. And I think it's this one.
Yeah. Try Long Gone Lonesome Blues. Because they're blues songs, obviously. I wanted to hear the words. That was literally like a split second before the words came in.
Well,
is it Moanin' the Blues, maybe?
Moanin' the Blues.
Oh, come on.
Take these chains from my heart and set...
Wait. Maybe it's not Hank Williams. That did not sound exactly like Hank Williams.
I think it's... For the record, I think it's Hank Williams.
Yeah, but the voice sounded different. Maybe he was singing in a lower pitch on this song.
I'm just saying, like, take These Chains from My Heart is a Hank Williams song that is in this list.
Oh, that's it then. Yeah.
Which is why I think it is him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there it is.
Yep.
All right.
And now to something
I knew it was him, but
the
I knew it was him. I just didn't know the title.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. I only said I'm sure it's him once I typed in Chains and he came up. Like that.
Yeah.
Like I just don't know. I think I know like 2 songs from before. That's probably not quite true, but like I only know like a handful of songs from before the 60s. So like that.
Oh yeah. That's you're my brown-eyed girl. La 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 la.
Brown-Eyed Girl, Van Morrison.
Yeah.
Whoops, I didn't type this. Wait, why is it now not there anymore? Or now it's at the bottom. That is correct!
Ah.
As I said, you're too good at this.
It was originally called Brown Skin Girl, but Van Morrison sang the lyrics differently when they recorded it, and they just left it as Brown Eyed Girl.
Yeah, I can see why that might have been a better idea.
Yeah.
Although probably in the 60s for actually very different reasons that I think about it. Like these days it would be like, oh, don't reduce her to a race, and back then it probably would have been like, she's black?
Exactly, yeah. Like, we want this on the radio.
Yeah, so... Yeah. 70s.
Oh, R&B.
I'm assuming that is all you can say about that, because like last time you just were like, okay, it's this artist for sure, or it's like that song for sure.
Yeah. No, I don't recognize it right offhand. I mean, be any of those R&B artists of the
I was gonna say, it sounds very generic to me.
Yeah. Marvin Gaye, maybe, or something.
It's just more of the same.
Yeah. Need a little more.
Yeah, me too. I also probably don't know it, but...
No. Nothing.
Yeah, me neither. I don't think I know it.
Oh crap.
Say, oh crap.
I thought you might have said a grand, as in a grand, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, play the next part. I want to hear his voice.
Aquarius. And my name is Red.
Oh man, I got nothing.
Float on by the floaters.
Yeah. I didn't know the song. I know of the band.
Okay, how about somewhere around here in the 80s?
Sounds like a warm-up intro. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't feel very useful today, but we'll see. Did that do it for you? Did that give it away?
I mean, it does sound familiar, but I'm not sure right offhand.
I'm not getting anything yet.
God, what is that? I need to hear the drop. Ah,
I gave it. I skipped one
it's
more.
modern
I would give it one.
romance.
Modern romance.
It's modern romance.
See what
Yeah.
happened in Modern Love, I might have known it, but Modern Romance, I'm not as familiar with. Modern Love
Walking in
is
the
actually made by
Rain.
David Bowie. Modern Romance. Oh, The Artist. Oh, sorry. The Artist is Modern Romance. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Walking in the Rain.
Walking in the Rain. If it had been Modern Love, the Bowie song, I would have definitely got it. But yeah. Okay. Modern Romance. Walking in the Rain. That is correct. 90s.
Nothing over that.
Oh, God.
More R&B though.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, this could be anything, right? Because this could be
Yeah.
just the beginning of, like, a ballad, right? And that is just what it sounds like, more or less. Or it could just, like, break down and be, like, a rap song or a metal song, and that would just be a perfectly valid intro for those genres either. It's like, it's nothing. Like, is it a song? Is it an intro? I don't know.
Yep. Give me a little more. Oh, it's definitely R&B. That's one of those boy bands. What was that? Oh God, it wasn't 98 Degrees, was it?
Do I have to spell it out, or is it a number? Oh, it's a number. Because of You, 98 Degrees is in here.
You can try that, and I'm not sure if that's it though.
That is indeed not it. I'm assuming they were just on your mind because of the weather.
Say what?
I'm assuming they were just on your mind because of the weather.
Oh. Oh, 98 Degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so. No, this is yeah, it's one of those 90s boy bands. It's not Backstreet Boys or NSYNC or 98 Degrees, obviously.
90s boy bands. Okay, you just named like the two that I would have probably said. Take That.
That might be it. Try that.
Okay, it's just there's three boy bands that I can think of, and it's the two you mentioned.
I think you might be right.
Okay, there's like a million songs. Sure, Pray,
Oh,
Babe,
God.
Never Forget, Back for Good, Could It Be Magic, A Million Love Songs, How Deep Is Your Love? How Deep Is Your Love? That's cover, right? Like that's not okay. Anyways, Love Ain't Here Anymore. Relight My Fire, which I'm assuming is a sequel to Light My Fire by The Doors, which is not written by The Doors.
Try. Love ain't here anymore.
Love Ain't Here Anymore. Submit. That is correct.
Boom. Yeah.
I would like to think that I helped.
Hey. You did. You definitely contributed to that one.
I knew a boy band. I knew three boy bands, but the two other ones you mentioned already. 2000s. Well, that's all you.
Don't know it right offhand.
Actually, I might know this.
Oh, really? Yeah, because I don't think that's hip hop, is it?
No, I just thought from the way it sounded it would be, and I don't know anything about
like
it. But no, I think it's a
It's a digital beat. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to get it just from this, but it does sound kind of familiar. Like, but a lot of music from that time sounded kind of like that. So,
yeah.
Unless you have something, I'm going to have to skip.
No, I don't. Oh wait, that is familiar.
Yeah, it sounds
I can't
familiar,
place
right?
who it is though. Yeah.
I don't think
I can't put right offhand.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Maybe if we get some of the hook.
Now I'm less confident in knowing it.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely sounds familiar, but I can't place who it is right offhand.
I mean, the title would suffice.
Nothing right offhand.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, the title actually is in some ways more useful than an artist, but...
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's just more of the same.
Yeah. I would like to hear some of the hook if possible.
Well, we're getting 5 more seconds and then that's it.
Oh my god.
I definitely know the song, but I can't tell the title or artist.
Yeah, me too. I just can't remember who it is.
Like, I'm pretty sure this is one of those songs that I've heard the last time when they played it on the radio when it was newish. So
Exactly, yeah.
And I didn't know any artists or titles pretty much in the 2000s. In my defense, I was probably 8 when this came out.
Yeah.
Rough estimate, I don't know the exact year, but...
I was probably in high school when this came out.
I got into high school in, let's do some quick math, 2008? So I guess technically it's possible. Well, okay, no, not high, secondary.
You were in high school in 2008?
Secondary school. It's technically, I guess it's equivalent to middle and high school for you, so I guess the sort of the more high school equivalent would have been more like 2013 or something.
Are you born in like 99 though?
98.
So you went to high school at 8? Or 9?
No.
Well, 10?
So, okay. We have elementary school, which is 4 years, and then we have secondary school, which starts when we're 10. But that is sort of the equivalent to middle and high school for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I mostly when we talk about it, we talk about sort of towards the end of it. So I talk about it as high school. But it's the same school, whether I'm 10 or whether I'm 18, right? Well, actually, I technically graduated at 17.
Yeah.
But, so to me, it's just, when I think about it, it's high school, right? So but yeah, I guess it's middle school, technically, I guess. But again, it's one school, so it doesn't really make sense to distinguish it in the same way.
Yeah.
It's just the German school system is very different from the American one, and you can't really map those things perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, we high school between 14 and 15, depending on when your birthday is.
Yeah, I mean, so our primary school, elementary school, that is 4 years. So that is from when you're 6, generally speaking. I think technically you're 5 and you're like on the very oldest end. Some of those get in, but generally you're 6 when you start that. And then secondary school, you start at 10. There's 3 different types of school you can go to. Not like subsequently, but just in parallel, one of those 3. The 2 quote-unquote lower ones, the ones that are less academic, are for 6 years. And the one that is the most academic one of those does go for... Most of the time it goes for 9 years, although when I went there, it went for 8. They tried that out briefly. And the last 3 years of that are the stuff that the other schools essentially don't do. So that is what I would consider the close equivalent to, like, if you wanted to make the middle school high school split. So for me, that would have been then 5 years middle school and 3 years high school, which is weird because I'm pretty sure for you it's 4-4-4. But it actually splits more cleanly if I do 4-5-3. In which case, if we split it that way, then I would have gotten into middle school at 10, and then I guess at 15 into high school. But again, it's the same. It's literally the same building. It's the same teachers. It's the same school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know the song?
A little more. No, not at all. I mean, I know the song. I just don't know who it is right offhand.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to give you anything there. Unwritten. She literally said unwritten. Natasha Bedingfield.
You should have tried that.
She said
Natasha
unwritten.
Bedingfield.
I'm just not used to songs that are that new having the title that early.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's definitely a song that I heard on the radio back when it was out, like you said, but haven't heard it since.
Yeah, she's one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I could have probably listed a couple of like female singers from that time. I would not have said Natasha Bedingfield. So that's, you know, like
Yeah.
I knew the name, but like I wouldn't. It would have been one I would have come up with just randomly. And I didn't know any of them well enough to like distinguish them by like voice or anything like that. Last, we have the 2010s. I'm going with early 2010s.
Yeah. It sounds like the 70s or the 80s. Yeah, I don't know enough off of that. Can't even tell if it's male or female.
I think it's a guy. I'm not sure though.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yep. Very folky. Don't know right offhand.
Oh, that didn't help me.
Nah.
Well, thank you for looping around.
I'm changing it from folk to blues, but I don't know who it is.
You know, I was weirded up when you said. I think it's probably more like pop, actually. Probably once he actually starts singing, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, maybe.
Just watch it loop one more time, just for good measure. When we get to that script.
I'm sure it will. And I'm wondering if that's even a sound.
You've got a hold of me.
I think you're right about pop.
Yeah, that's instinct I immediately got. Mostly I think because of the filter on the voice. That's like, to me that's like a very pop, or I mean hip hop does it as well, I think, but pop is what I associate it with mostly.
Yeah,
The like slight.
but they were definitely going for a blues sound though, with the moaning and the acoustic guitar. But I don't know this song right offhand. Is it John Mayer?
It totally could be. Okay, John with an H, right? John with an H?
I believe
Mayer
so.
with it doesn't wait. Is it not John with an H? John. I mean, I don't actually need the H if I type Mayer correctly, which is not. No, he's not even in here apparently, which is odd to me because I'm pretty sure we've had him before. Maybe
I don't think it's John Legend. Yeah, maybe he had to have some hits in the 2010s also.
I don't know. I mean, I would think. He is one of those people, right? Like, I think we listed a couple last time. We had one of those songs as well, where there's like there were just a couple of just guys with guitars. That was like a thing. For
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was huge in the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Ed Sheeran is sort of like the one that became a big name, but like a lot of people did that around that time. I think it was one of the later ones too, despite the fact that or at least when he blew up was when this trend was already coming to its end. But wait, there was Jason Mraz as well.
James Blunt
I won't
was
give
a big
you
one.
up. Jason Mraz is also on here. He's also one of those guys, I think. James Blunt. I think James Blunt is a bit earlier though. He's not on here. I think James Blunt is a bit,
yeah.
or I think he might have actually started in the 90s, or like his first.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Late 90s, maybe.
Like You're Beautiful and this sort of thing. I would intuitively want to put in the 90s, but I don't know for a fact.
Oh, I think that was mid to late 2000s. Yeah, I think that may have been. Yeah, I think that was closer to the 2010s. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't think it came out in...
Anyways, do we have any ideas for this?
Yeah, I don't, not a clue.
Okay, so because we're not going to find the release unless we look it up. And Shawn Mendes with Mercy. Shawn
Another
Mendes
one of
is
those
also
guys with the
one
guitars.
of those. He was also, I think, one of the later ones of those, and one of the more popular ones as well.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
again, there was just a lot of those guys, just like at the time. It
Mhm.
was just a thing. Do we want to do? I saw. I think this is new. Greatest hits.
Greatest hits. Okay.
Just to
From
like round it
whatever.
out. Mostly because I hope maybe I will finally recognize one, but we'll see. Maybe this wasn't a good idea.
No, it doesn't sound like a good idea so far. I mean,
Oh,
greatest hits of what?
Let's see. Test your music knowledge by guessing the greatest songs from the 70s, 80s, and 90s inspired by the greatest hit radio station in the UK.
Oh wow, that may not work out for me either.
I mean, if it's 70s, 80s, and 90s, that is like... Those types of stations are what I mostly listen to when I listen to the radio. So, like, we got that going for us.
Yeah.
The problem is this is an intro, right? This is not music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not a song yet, so it's really hard. I don't have anything yet.
It's not. No, me either. It's not going well. Mm-mm.
And here I
No,
thought
I
this
got
might have been something where I could excel. Nope.
Yeah.
It's just more of the same. I have no idea. This won't waste of
Yeah.
time.
Yes, it was.
David Gray with "Please Forgive Me." That doesn't ring a bell. I've never heard of that.
No,
David Gray?
and that's a greatest hit. Yeah, no.
Greatest songs from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It says so, yeah.
And maybe it was a
UK
UK hit.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking that. I don't know. Let's see. Please forgive me. Single by Bryan Adams. No, that's not even the right one. Thank you, Wikipedia.
I would have known
David
that
Gray
one.
song. Okay. 1999, by the way, so 70s, 80s, and 90s, we're cutting it close here. Released 22nd of November 1999. He was really, like, just getting it under the wire.
Yeah.
Single from David Gray from the album White Ladder. It weekly charts, it peaked... There's European charts? 79th in the European charts. 26th in the Irish ones, 15th in the Scottish ones, 18th in the UK singles charts, and... Yeah... Billboard Adult Alternative number 10 and Adult Pop Airplay number 23. He did not get on the regular Billboard charts at all, it seems.
Those numbers are not what I would consider greatest.
No, and again, right, like apparently he didn't chart on the main charts in the US at all. So
Yeah.
that is not
So how
exactly...
is that greatest hits? That's mediocre hit there. Can you even classify that as a hit?
Apparently BPI, which I believe is a British organization, certified it silver. His song Babylon from the same year and the same album actually peaked at 57th in the US and peaked at 5th in the UK and charted in a bunch of other places too, including Germany. And that one was
I may actually know that one.
That at least is a bit of a hit.
Yeah.
But please forgive me?
Yeah,
No,
Babylon sounds familiar.
Do we have a... Of course we don't. Do we have an external link or anything like that? Do I have to actually... Ugh, gosh. I would have to put this into YouTube if I wanted to listen to it, which would also mean that I would have to hope that my audio settings are good, which I guess I would have to either way. YT Babylon, David Gray, probably gotta put that because otherwise I wouldn't know what I'm asking for. Okay, I didn't spell all that right, but okay, it works. Here it is. Audio seems like it's correct for a music video, and it's not loading very fast because YouTube doesn't like ad blockers.
Mm-hmm.
But you should always use one. Be safe, use protection. I
should use one.
Let's go to...
I can
most
barely hear it. Oh, yes. Yes, I do know that one.
Well, we probably can't play much more than that, and Justified Being Fair Use. I still don't recognize that one. But again, it's I was saying before my time. I was technically one when that song came out. So, there's that.
Yeah. Probably didn't get much replay after the first year or so.
Yeah, and like, even if I had heard it when I was one, I don't think I would remember it. So, I think, what is it? You have to be at least 3 or something before you, like, really start remembering things?
I believe so.
So, yeah, it's not too much of a shock that I didn't know that one, but, no. The other one, I find it hard to justify that one. Like, yes, it charted in the UK.
But that's not a hit, though. Like, I don't... They need to recheck their parameters there.
Like
what they classify as a hit.
Yeah, I would think it's like top 10 charting songs, or maybe like platinum or gold or something like that, maybe even. But like silver, I don't know, like silver. It charted it peaked. What did I say? Peaked earlier.
You got to hit the top 10 to have a hit, and you need to be a number one.
UK.
Yeah, that's not a hit, bro.
It peaked at 18, then they got silver. It's one of those that's like, like, it's not a flop or anything, but like, I think for like hit, it's like it's more like on the bubble than an actual hit.
Yeah. I mean, silver, that's got to be like 100,000. You don't hear about many silver records.
Does it say that anywhere?
I know gold is 500 and platinum is 1 million. So
I don't know if the numbers are the same in Britain because there's a lot less people there, and I believe it's based on sales within the country. List of music recording certifications. Okay, that is useful. I'm assuming UK is under U. United Kingdom, silver is 60,000 apparently. And 100,000 is gold over there.
Wow. Yeah, so it sold even less than I thought.
And in the US, gold apparently is 500,000, as you said. Apparently there is no silver. And platinum is 1 million. In the US and in the UK, platinum is 300,000.
Oh, wow. Did not know there was a difference.
I mean, that I assumed because the population of the UK is like a tenth of the US? No, wait, a tenth I say. No, that might be right. Let's see. UK, is it gonna give me to BPI or is it gonna be to UK? Okay, it's gonna be to UK. UK population. Okay, it's a bit more. 68 million. It's about a fifth of the US population. So the fact that their silver qualification is a fifth of yours, not so gold, it's a fifth of yours, sense. Actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah, because otherwise it would be really difficult. Anyways, that brings us to our... Right, I closed this because even though I didn't need to. This brings us to our second topic, where we play Will You Press the Button, which I absolutely did have pulled up and did not just close the window that I wanted to pull it up in. And now here we are. Will you press the button? Will peace is achieved, but half of the human race will die. I'm assuming right when you press the button.
I would love to know which half dies, because if it's the unpeaceful people, then that might not be a bad idea, right? But then again, as a humanitarian, you got to be like, no, all lives matter. So I'm guessing not.
I mean, I guess the other question is, right? How lasting is said world peace?
Mm-hmm.
Because if world peace is achieved forever, this definitely makes sense. If it's achieved for like the next 5 years, it probably isn't worth it. You have to consider how many people die in wars, right? And even indirectly through wars, right? There's a lot of, I mean, in Gaza, right? People aren't dying because they're being bombed. They're dying because they're starving, right? They're dying because they don't have clean drinking water, and so they have infections and shit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of them are dying because they're bombed, but it's not like the big thing.
Yeah.
And obviously soldiers are oftentimes the first and foremost, right? Like you've got Ukraine, you got Ethiopia, you got I think it was somewhere else in East Africa. I don't remember right offhand, but there's like a couple big wars going on at the moment, and I mean also smaller ones all the time, and so there's a lot of war in the world, and if it's permanent world peace, sacrificing half the people now might actually be worth it. You know what? I think I will pick this because, to me, peace also implies there is more room for cooperation between different countries. And so issues like global warming, which will also kill a bunch of people, might actually be able to be solved in a more peaceful environment.
Yeah.
So I think the good this does would, in the medium to long term, outweigh the bad it does right away.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I was saying. Like, if you get rid of the people who are at war, or the unpeaceful people in the first place, the bad people, if you will, then you're actually doing the world a favor. But then again, who's to say those people could not turn their lives around?
Yeah,
and
you
be
could also
people.
basically just take any conflict and just eliminate one of the sides, and the war would also be over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be the aggressor
side,
right? Like, this is the thing, right? Like, so it's like, yeah, no, I can see how this could go. This could go wrong. I can see that. But, again, I think the upshot of this from world peace is not just that all current wars end. I think there could be more good from this. So, I think I've got to actually pick this.
Alright.
I mean, I can totally see why you wouldn't. And this is one of those, it's 50-50, right? Like you can just tell this is a very divisive issue. It's also fairly new, so the sample size is not amazing, but anyways. You can enter into any fantasy world you want, but you must kill someone you love before you can.
Oh, come on.
I will press the button.
You will?
Yeah.
Who do you have in mind?
I'm not killing anyone. I'm probably never using this power, but I just have it.
Well, I mean, if you just keep it in your pocket, that's one thing. But, I mean, you could save it for a time where a family member is 90 years old and on their deathbed anyway. And they want to be out of their misery. Or,
like, I don't know, you're somehow stuck in a situation where death is imminent, right? Like, you're stuck in a house fire and, like somehow you can't get out. And you're like, oh, you're gonna die anyways, so at least you get out of here,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one of those questions that doesn't really have a downside. It has a restriction on the thing it gives you. And that constraint might make me never want to use it. But just getting access to the power is not a problem for me. Like, and again, I'm not going to say that all the people that clicked I won't necessarily saw it that way. Because obviously, the implication of the question is, would you use this power? But that's not what the question asks of me. So the way it is worded, I absolutely will take this.
Yeah. Might as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, most people didn't. And I am intentionally reading this in an unusual way. So I can see why most people wouldn't click this. This is not...
Yeah, not really that's not the first thing you think of.
You can star in your favorite TV show, but you have to get an I love Justin Bieber tattoo.
Okay. That is a hilarious question. Where, I mean, if it's discreet, like, it's on your ankle, or I'll get it on my big toe and no one will ever see it or something. Or I guess you could never wear flip-flops or something, but
yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking, right? Like, you could just get it very discreetly.
yeah.
It does also not say that you can't get it covered or removed. So you just have to get the tattoo, technically, and then you can just get a cover-up right away. As soon as it's healed, you're not supposed to get work done on it before. But, so this, I don't think the downside is that big. Now, here's the thing, right? The future of my favorite TV show is currently in jeopardy. If I get to star in it, that would imply that there's more of it being made.
Yeah.
Also, wait, when I say star, do they mean like a main character? Because I don't feel like I don't think I have the talent to do that.
Your favorite show is Doctor Who?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very consistent on that. I feel like people know this about me by now.
Yeah. I don't suppose I have a favorite TV show at the moment. I haven't really kept up with any series.
I feel like there is sort of this thing here, right? Where most people probably don't want the Bieber tattoo. And depending on how you think about it, it really, like, obviously I don't want the tattoo. But again, we can get around minimizing that as a downside. A lot of people don't have a favorite TV show. And even if you do, not a lot of people, I don't know if acting is that appealing to people, right? Do you want to be an actor? Like, I don't necessarily, right? Like, I mean, it would be an interesting thing to do, but it's not like something I'd be like, oh, I always want to be an actor or something like that, so.
Yeah. I mean, the movie studios are like 3 miles from my house.
Right. Good text credits.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it wouldn't be a far drive. And a lot of hit shows are filmed here.
Yeah, I mean, they're filming the new Hunger Games movie in like Dusseldorf and Cologne. So, like, that is.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, that's further from me probably than the movie studios are from you, but that's like an hour maybe away from here. So it's really not that far either. And
I saw
technically they are looking for extras. So, like, if I wanted to, I could probably sign up as an extra for that point.
Yeah. I almost said I saw Jack Nicklaus the other day. I saw Nicolas Cage down the street last Tuesday, as a matter of fact.
Huh.
But that's neither here nor there. I would do it. I mean, I would just get a small Justin Bieber tattoo.
Yep. Most people didn't. Based on the view count, on the people, like, this probably was written a while ago, but the people were just having very strong opinions on Justin Bieber as well. And like, I can see why reflexively people will pick no. I can also see generally why people will pick no. It's just one of those things that's kind of interesting. The person you like/love will marry you and have children with you, but you will have to live poorly. It doesn't say in poverty, just as poorly. You just don't live very well.
I mean, that could be poor health.
I mean, I'm assuming it means but like...
Yeah, you would think. But you could have a lot of money and just have a really horrible house. You never clean up, that your house is just a nightmare. It's got bugs. I suppose if your significant other is fine with that, then what's the problem?
Okay, so...
I mean, do you value having that love, or do you value having the money more?
That's a good question.
Because there's no guarantee that you're going to have money if you don't push the button anyway.
Yes. So there is an interesting thing here for me. First of all, the person you like will marry you is one of those things where I'm always like, what does this mean? Are you saying even if that person doesn't care for me, they suddenly have to, right? Like, I don't like this. This seems to be taken away someone else's free will. I just don't like these categorically. Second of all, I don't want to have children. For me, this is all downsides. Like, this entire question is downsides for me. Like, I don't want any of this.
You don't like this thought of a magical influence over someone.
I don't like love potions. I think they're really creepy. And I think if you think about it for a second, it's just not a good idea. I don't want children.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live poorly, right? Like, this is just all bad things as far as I'm concerned. I don't want any of this.
Yeah. I mean, I've already had kids, so that doesn't mean anything to me. Let's not push the button.
Yeah, I mean, I will not. 50-50. Slightly more people pushed it, but it rounds to 50-50. Let's do, I don't know, 2 more, and then do our songs of the week. You become invisible every time you want, but every time you do, a baby dies.
Oh my god, come on now. Can it be a sick baby at least? Like, at least, like, this kid is suffering. Come on. I mean, it was going to die tomorrow anyway. That's the only that is feasible right there.
Yeah, I want to say the same thing as with the family member killing Fantasy 1 again. Like, I could just have this and just not become invisible, right? Like, and just, if I ever am in a situation where, like, my life depends on not being seen, I can use it. But otherwise, I'm just not going to use it. I'm just going to take the power and not use it.
Yeah, that's what you'd have to do. I'd take the button.
Right? Like, I don't like these questions where it's like, oh, you get a superpower, but if you use it, it's like, well, then I won't use it, and if I ever need to, I just have it, right? Like, this is a downside to using the power, not a downside to pressing the button. There is no downside to pressing the button, except maybe temptation to use the power even when you don't have to. But, like, again, I find these silly. You can prevent the terrorist attacks of 9/11 from happening, but this action sparks the beginning of World War III. What kind of a question is that? Can I still hear you?
I don't know.
Oh, no, okay. I thought for a second.
Oh, no, I was actually glitching in my mind. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Not that.
I mean,
you. Not that many people.
You don't want to.
I mean, the war on terror, of course, killed a bunch of people as well. But like World War III, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be more people dying in World War III than 9/11, right?
Yeah. Like, not even that many people died in 9/11, right? Like, it's one of those things that's... It's very overhyped in a sense. I mean, I get that it's, like, the largest domestic terrorist attack, like, the largest terror attack on US soil. I get that. And might have been one of the biggest terrorist attacks in general. But it's large for terrorism, right? It's not large as, like, a total death toll, right? There was a thing where, like, during the COVID pandemic, people were like, oh, yeah, like... Because a lot of Republicans were like, oh, we don't need masks, we don't need anything. And they're like, there's more people dying every day right now than during 9/11, right? It's like, how is 9/11 never forget and COVID is like, oh, just, we can't ignore it, right? So, this is one of those things where, like, yeah, no, it's like, other things kill people a lot more than 9/11 did. So, I'm not saying 9/11 was good or that, like, if I could have prevented it, like, I wouldn't have or whatever. But, like, these consequences are just so disproportionate to the actual, like, thing.
Well, but wars in the future will be without casualties. So it depends on when it happens. That. You don't think so? Or at least minimal?
We're already seeing how currently, like, drones are used in war, right? And it's not like, yes, a lot of drones are being shot down instead of fighter pilots or whatever, but the drones that do hit cause a lot of damage as well, and they can send a bunch of them. And they target civilians sometimes just as, like, a strategic choice, right? Like, you're not going to get into a situation where all war is automated. People think that because it seems like that's increasingly where it's going, but you don't have a strategic advantage from killing your opponent's robots. You don't get much out of that except for, like, monetary cost. It's not going to happen.
I mean, I think it's very actually possible. Because... Let's say, your defense is an army of robots. And if I take those out, I am then threatening your life and the life of your people. So then you surrender because you don't have your defenses. I mean, yeah, it could go past that. But I think there will be many instances where it does not.
I could see that if the robot defenses become so sophisticated that you would essentially be defenseless without robots. I could maybe see that. but that needs a lot of advancement, because right now, like, if someone attacks you with a bunch of drones and your air defenses are down, like, you could still try to shoot them down manually. You're not going to be very successful at it, but you also have, like, bunkers, and you can, like, try to, like, evacuate, like, population centers, and you could do a lot to still withstand and, like, try to counter-strike in the meantime, right? Like, there's still room for that. You can shoot down drones with planes, you can shoot them down with air defense, you can shoot them down, again, sometimes just with guns, because drones are not that big. It's just very difficult to do the latter part without having them get too close. Artillery guns can still strike them down sometimes, especially with like a swarm or something. The point is, I obviously will not press this button. To me, this is...
Yeah, me either.
Like, this is an almost unreasonable question to ask. Yes, 79% of people said no. Because of course. Which brings us to our songs of the week. What is your song of the week?
Oh, in honor of Ozzy's last performance ever with Black Sabbath and solo, or I guess he wasn't solo, but as Ozzy Osbourne, the band, I chose No More Tears by Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call it his best song, but it's not bad either.
Let's see, Crazy Train was his biggest song, obviously.
Yes. I would say Dreamer is his best song, but that might not be a popular choice, because it's also not his typical sound either, I would say.
Yeah. One of my favorites, though.
Yeah.
I do like a lot of the Black Sabbath stuff even better than Ozzy's solo, but...
Yeah, sure, I can see that. But, I mean, I was just thinking, like, specifically Ozzy Osbourne songs, but yeah, Dreamer is my favorite Ozzy Osbourne song, and then my favorite Black Sabbath song is probably Iron Man, but it's a fairly generic choice. But...
Iron Man is up there, yeah. That entire first album was great. You know what the crazy thing is Ozzy was only there for like 3 years in the beginning, and they released like 8 albums during that time. That is wild compared to today's standards. You will see that. I mean, there's artists that go 3 and 4 years between albums, and they were releasing like 3 and 4 in a year. This is wild.
Yeah, I mean, even back then, I think that's not normal, but also these days, I think the only way you basically make money as a musician is touring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because CD sales don't exist anymore. I mean, that's not entirely true. There are CD and even vinyl sales. And, actually, probably more records are being sold these days than CDs. Probably not a real statistic, but it kind of feels like it sometimes. But, yeah, no, there aren't that many physical sales anymore, and streaming barely pays you any money. And so, touring is like the big way they make money.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Yeah, it used to be that you would tour to sell your album, and now make albums so that you have stuff to tour on.
Exactly.
Crazy.
And so you can't just release 8 albums in 3 years, because you need to make like a whole ass tour for every album, because that is how you make your money.
Exactly.
And so that it makes sense why you couldn't do that anymore as easily. I mean, I'm sure there are people that do that, but those are either not musicians as their main job, or they're like really trying to make like just enough money from like streaming and CD sales. And then you have to basically have a cadence.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just wild looking at the entire catalog for Black Sabbath. So many. Oh, I forgot I'm wearing the shirt today too.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That.
I noticed it earlier, yeah. I noticed it was kind of fitting. I would go to full screen, but I can't, because the song will start playing when I go back otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else about Ozzy?
Nah, I guess that's it. It's sad to see him go, but at least he's still alive. And
I was going to say, it sounded like he died when you just said that.
Yeah, I know. Man, people were talking about that show was going to be his death in slow motion. Like, people were like, yep. I don't know, man. It kind of felt like it almost, you know. Not that he died on stage, but it's the death of his career, you know.
I mean, it almost would have been fitting, but obviously it's good that he can retire, like, if he wants to, like that. You know, I think he earned that.
Yeah, he's done everything ever. So. And
I guess that brings us to my song of the week, which is Bring the Hammer Down by Hammerfall.
Now raise your hands.
Yeah. Is that your favorite power metal band?
It might be. I mean, Hammerfall.
This is not the first time you've brought them up on here.
Hammerfall is probably. It's certainly the band that got me into metal, so that they will always hold a special place for that alone. And I probably have more Hammerfall songs on my playlist than any other metal band, but I do also like Sabaton quite a lot, for example. Nightwish does. I mean, they do power metal and symphonic metal, so that's almost like a little bit not entirely on that, but like those are probably my 3 favorites. I don't know if I could like definitively rank them against each other. I don't know.
You like Powerwolf too.
Powerwolf too. I think Powerwolf for me is like maybe like one step under those, but they're also pretty up there as well. Yeah, I think Sabaton might be slightly better than Hammerfall, but it's really hard to say. Also, Hammerfall is, for better or for worse, is very consistent. I think. Like they have a lot of the songs are very similar, but that also means I like most of them. But also, none individually stand out a huge amount. It's kind of that thing, right? It's what I always say about, also, like, Nickelback, I think, is one that's, like, famous for that, but also, like, ABBA and bands like that, where it's, like, they have a lot of very similar sounding songs, which makes them very consistently good, but also, like, has very few songs that are, like, standouts because of that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of artists fall into that, especially when you get into a niche category like that, a niche genre. But yeah, do you like Dragon Force?
Yeah. I mean, also not as much. I mean, as I've also said it, right? Like, oh wait, no. I think Dragon Force, right? That the speed metal, right? They call that what they do, speed metal. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, technically, but it's also power metal.
Yeah, I always say, right?
They are the biggest power metal band.
Because Dragon Force is just power metal but faster.
Yeah, exactly.
If you played Hammerfall at double speed, it would sound the same. There are actual reasons why this is probably not literally true. Also, playing audio at different speeds and actually performing at different speeds does have like actual tangible acoustic differences. But essentially. I've always said that about Dragon Force was like they often called speed metal. I'm like, it's just fast power metal. You're just doing power metal faster.
Yeah, it's power metal for sure. They just play really fast. A lot of power metal bands play fast though.
Yeah, not that fast usually, but another one that stands out as being a really good one is Gloryhammer.
Gloryhammer.
Probably the nerdiest power metal band, and power metal is already like a fairly nerdy genre.
Yeah.
But
who's who is the one that did the pinball map? I gotta look this up now.
Let me,
because they're pretty nerdy also.
Directly talking about Hammerfall anymore. But
my bad. In Flames.
Oh yeah, I don't know that many of their songs. I know like one or two, but yeah. No, I was just saying like I'm going away from the cover because we're not talking about them anymore. Not directly. Yeah, no. There are a lot of good power metal bands, and I probably like don't have the breadth of knowledge there that I probably should have for like how much I like a lot of that stuff. But I basically just like got a couple of bands I really like, and then like sometimes stuff that comes up in the recommended, right? And that's about my knowledge about power metal, so it's not that deep actually. I'm also for a lot of things that I like, I'm not really in like any communities for it, right? Like sometimes you have like there's like online communities or something like that where like metalheads and like you like exchange songs or whatever. Like I don't really participate in a lot of that, so I just know the stuff that gets recommended to me, and in this case, usually by like YouTube related or whatever if I'm listening to some other songs. And so especially for metal, my knowledge is actually not that deep because unlike other things where it's like, oh, they used to play this on the radio a lot, or like, you know, people talk about this. Like I just don't hear a lot about it, so my knowledge is actually shallow.
There's not. I mean, some serious stations that play power metal or whatever, but as far as American terrestrial radio stations, it doesn't get played. There's no power metal stations here.
I don't think we have any either. I would not be surprised if we're like something like Sweden or something. because that's where all the bands come from. That's actually not true. A lot of them are German too. Hammerfall Swedish.
Yeah.
We talked about Powerwolf for German. And Glory
Sabaton's
Hammer are
German,
English,
right?
actually, so it actually is a little bit more all over the place.
Oh yeah, it's all European though.
Yeah, it is, and it's a lot of also like Northern and Western Europe, a lot especially.
Never even thought about that. Are there any Americans? Are there any American power metal bands?
I mean, sure.
I don't know that I've come up. Let's see. While Europe is more prominent in the scene, US has its own distinct style. Key bands. Oh, Omen. I'm thinking of Bad. I don't know that I know Omen.
I was just going to say
Agent Steel. Oh, Iced Earth, but I consider them more of thrash metal. Iced Earth has been around since the 90s. Crimson Glory, Manila Road, Riot, Queensryche. That's not power metal. That's classic metal. Fate's Warning and Manowar is also more classic metal. But yeah.
I mean, the last 2 or 3 I think that you said I have heard of. I'm not great at classification, but that's also music that I would listen to. So like that's also the thing, right? Like classic, like the older heavy metal stuff, like or classic metal, whatever you want to call it, like is also something that I would listen to, right? It's power metal, symphonic metal, and it's like older heavy metal. The modern heavy metal I tend to not like as much, but yeah. And then I also like some hard rock and stuff like that. So like it's like this whole spectrum where like usually if it's on the spectrum from very broadly saying from like older pop music to power metal, is that a spectrum or like but whatever, like the heaviest form.
They're pretty far away.
Like
yeah.
Things on that spectrum are usually things that I not that like every song on that, but yeah, that's sort of what I listen to.
Yeah.
It is a broad spectrum, and at the same
think...
time, it really isn't as much either because like all of like rap and hip hop is outside of that, like classical music or like I was gonna say folk, like some folk is okay, but I mean I don't really listen to folk music. It's more like folk rock, that sort of thing, right? Like you have there's a lot of stuff that is outside of that, and modern pop music, like right? I think by like amount of people listening to it, I'm probably like it's actually fairly narrow, I think, in these days.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the most popular stuff I don't like as much, but yeah, I guess it is somewhat broad.
Yeah. If you think about it though, classic metal is actually very similar to power metal.
Yeah, but that
really is.
That's why I like both of them, I think, because
yeah,
they both fall very much in my taste. And symphonic metal as well, which is a bit different. But it also...
Oh, yeah. I
feel like it has sort of this commonality where it's like, it's also the most hardcore metal stuff, right? It's clean vocals, and that probably... Actually, wait, do you use the term clean vocals in hip-hop for like a very different reason? It sounds like you would.
Clean vocals?
Yeah, I've heard it described as such. I don't know if that's like an official term, but in metal it means, as far as I've heard, it means like no growling or screaming and that sort of thing. I feel like it also sounds like no swearing when you say it. That's why I was like, it could totally be something you would say in hip hop, where it's like it's clean vocals, but it means no swearing.
But yeah, I mean, technically, yeah. That would.
I mean, you might say clean lyrics. You might not use clean as a word. It's just, when I said it, like every time I say clean vocals, it sounds to me more like it says no swearing, which is not what it means. Yeah. But
if you said that to a rapper, they would think you meant don't cuss in this song. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but for me, it's like I don't really like the growling and the screaming and that sort of thing as much. I mean, screaming if it's like actually just depends a little bit, but like I don't like a lot of that stuff. So that is basically what defines it for me, right? Like, because then you don't have that many subgenres left almost. But yeah, no, that really is that.
Before it became so big because people were getting tired of the growling, and people wanted to hear some harmonization in metal because it had gone away. Thrash kind of took that away. There were great singers, classically trained singers in classic metal in the early days. But then thrash kind of pulled it out of that, and then death metal happened, and black metal, and people were getting tired of that. So, there was this wave of new artists that decided, we're going to harmonize in metal again.
Yeah.
So then you get the metalcore scene that happens.
I feel like there's a very obvious pattern here, right? Like, I don't like a lot of that metal stuff, and I think we talked a couple of weeks ago about how I don't like punk music, or most punk music.
Yeah.
And I mean, even to an extent, the fact that I don't really like rap and hip hop, I think falls under that as well, right? It's just like, I like when people in my music sing, just like singing, just regular singing, right? Like, make it musical and sing. It's really not that hard.
Different strokes for different folks. Yeah.
That is sort of like a very, I think that's the through line there.
Mm-hmm. See, rap though, it's a different talent. Like, yes, there was a lot of punk artists in the 70s who might not have had any talent. Like, they didn't even stay on beat. Like, there was no rhythm. I mean, it was just screaming, no harmonizing, just screaming.
I don't want to say
over
that they
guitars.
don't have any talent, because sometimes you have the thing where, you know, you first you have to learn the rules so that you can then throw them away, right? Where, like,
true. I mean, not that all of them like, had none. There were probably some.
Have you seen early Picasso paintings? I know it's like a very hard side, but like, Picasso is actually like a really good painter. Like, you wouldn't think that from his famous works. Because normally he does like more abstract stuff, which personally not really my thing. I mean, I'm not really into painting to begin with, but like, he used to actually like from his early days, you have some paintings where he's just right impressionism, right? Like, he's just like painting what he sees, and those are actually really good too. At least, I mean, again, not an expert, but like to me, they look really good. And obviously, like, I get that type of painting doesn't make any sense in a world where you have photography. So I get why that's not really done as much these days. But sometimes when you see some of these people and they're doing something very abstract and it looks very simple, or at the very least not very like skillful, and it turns out they are actually really good and they're doing it on purpose. That doesn't necessarily mean that I would like it because of that, but it's interesting. And I think, I mean, the punk people were oftentimes also doing it on purpose, whether they knew better, like whether they knew how to do it otherwise or not. I can't say.
Yeah, there's definitely been several that proved their talents also outside of doing that style, because they just enjoy that style.
Yeah,
you can't blame them. But
and I don't get it, but
it's like
Patton,
Mike Patton, when he was with Mr. Bungle, did one of the wildest, most chaotic styles ever, and you would swear that there's just some crazy lunatic on stage screaming, and not really a talented singer. But no, you listen to his other works, he's one of the greatest singers that ever lived. He's just wild, and he likes craziness and likes the chaotic stuff. So he goes up there and just screams at people. But he also can sing with some of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. Yep.
Yeah, I think we had a really long fact and a really long song with the week segment.
Yeah, we did.
Which is not how those are intended to go, but hey, we had a good discussion, and that is all that matters at the end of the day. But speaking of the end of the day, this podcast is coming to a close. So if I get to check out the Trash Talkers, link is in the description. I also have a link for the Beyond Football channel, where you can also see more of Smokey if you like football. And if you want to see more of this type of content, subscribe to this channel like you're on right now, Trash TV 2, and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment if you have something to say. Smokey. That's it.